Hey everyone, Hamaji here. Welcome back to another mechanical keyboard video. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Drop Enter mechanical keyboard from Drop. So this is a keyboard that is mainly designed towards entry-level users who are just getting into the whole custom keyboard scene or mechanical keyboard scene in general, and also more towards casual users who just want a good keyboard and has no intention of ever getting into the pit that is custom keyboards. Rest in peace, all of your wallets. And for full transparency, yes, Drop has sent me these keyboards, but that won't affect my review at all. And with that, let's get started. So the Drop Enter is a standard 10 keyless keyboard with a really nice overall design. I got sent two models, a black model with Gateron yellow linear switches and a dark green model with Halo True tactile switches. There's also a silver model, but the Gateron yellows and Halo Trues are the only switches that you can get on this keyboard. So the keyboard comes very nicely packaged in this simple cardboard box. It also comes with a keycap puller and a matching cable. As for the keycap puller, it's a pretty nice design. It's, a keycap puller, but it also has this little hole that's meant for, ergonomics. The cable is also just a standard cable. It is, fairly high quality, but nothing really new here. It's just some standard items that you'd ship out with a keyboard. The Drop Enter is priced at $90 US, which honestly is a pretty good price for this kind of keyboard. So design-wise, the Drop Enter for me personally is honestly really nice. It's extremely minimal, looks really sleek, and is extremely well manufactured. Definitely not for those looking for a very gamery or RGB styled keyboard. I was honestly really surprised at how heavy it was. I thought it would be really light and it would feel cheap, but it actually feels really nice in the hands. And there's also not a lot of flex within the keyboard. I can't bend it at all. And I'm not gonna try any harder because I don't want to break it either. But overall, yeah, really great build quality, very solid all around. On the back of the keyboard, you will also see Drop Enter printed on the center along with some other details about the keyboard. It also comes with plastic feet, which aren't really that great, honestly. The bottom two have a good amount of rubber, which reduces the amount of movement the keyboard has. But the top two feet have little to no rubber when flat, and it comes to the point where you may as well not include rubber at all. It is a little better when they do get propped up, as the bottom of the top 2 feet actually have some rubber. But unless you type like this, you're probably not going to move the keyboard much, so don't worry. I also wish that the rubber feet had a little bit more customizability, because like Razer's keyboards, where you can have a bit of a smaller incline or a larger incline depending on what kind of typist you are, more customizability is always awesome for a user. And I hope Drop looks into that just a little bit. So the top of the keyboard has a fairly flexible plastic cover, which is secured flush onto the keyboard via some screws. Both the plastic plate and the aluminum case fits really well together. I haven't had any issues where one of them would jut out or make the sides of the keyboard feel uneven or rough. The edges were really smooth and both of them were really well cut. The plastic plate is also great at resisting fingerprint smudges, which is a huge plus for me. In terms of lighting, the keyboard comes with backlit LEDs, which only have a white option. The LEDs can be modified by holding the FN keys and pressing on the arrow keys, up arrow to increase and down arrow to decrease. So the lighting for this keyboard is really minimal. All you can do is adjust the brightness. There's no modes or anything. So if you're really into RGB and you need that to increase your gameplay skills, this probably isn't it. The Drop Enter can come with one of 3 keycap sets. There's the black keycap set, the two-tone green and gray design, as well as a full white keycap set, which comes with the white case. The keycaps are double shot PBT shine through, which are actually really well manufactured. And I really like the fact that they've stuck with this simple keycap design. They're not straying away too far from the whole minimal aesthetic of the keyboard, and it's not trying to achieve too many different things at once. So nice keycap design. And in terms of shine through, the keycaps in the grand scheme of things look great. There is a bit of tiny inconsistency, like in the caps lock key, for example, or the B key, just little things that will block the legends. It's not to the point where it's completely blocked. You can see in the caps lock keycap that there are some black pieces of plastic on the back which obstruct the light from passing through. And I'm assuming that this came from their printing method. And if none of those keycaps really fit your whole aesthetic or setup, don't worry, you can purchase some alternative ones on Drop. I'll link some in the descriptions below. Okay, so let's move on to the switches. Once again, the Drop Enter comes with either Gateron yellows or the Halo Trues. They both come completely unlubed and stock, which to some people is great. But one thing you have to keep in mind is that the Drop Enter is not hot swappable. So unless you own a soldering iron and you're willing to desolder these switches, these are basically the permanent switches that you're going to be getting on your board. So as for the Gateron yellows on this board, the keyboard sounds really loud, high-pitched, hollow. There's a bit of scratchiness and pinging. It's not the best. I mean, you know, for the price, it's understandable. It's just that if this was hot swappable, I would have loved to take these switches out and lube them, because Gateron yellows, after being properly modified, can sound amazing. If you want to learn more about it, I've done a full review of them on my channel, so you can click the video up here or click the link down in the description below to learn more. So the Halo Trues on this keyboard, in my opinion, is a much better choice than the Gateron yellows, just because stock Halo Trues sound and feel better than a stock Gateron yellow. It has a really nice tactility to it, and it's pretty satisfying. It's not as sharp or satisfying as a Zelios or a Holy Panda or a Kiwi switch, but it definitely has a lot of redeeming qualities, which makes it really nice on this keyboard. And they're actually manufactured by Drop themselves. They actuate at 52 grams and bottom out at 78 grams, making it a little bit heavier than the average switch. So if you're used to a very light typing experience, then this is definitely a little bit of a workout for you guys. So one of the biggest downsides of this keyboard, in my opinion, are to do with the plate mounted stabilizers. You know, stabilizers and Drop don't really go that well together. It's like a really bad marriage. It's like, you know, they're there for each other kind of, and they're technically married and they exist together, but they can just never seem to get it right. And it's really infuriating. They're very loud and very rattly, and after some closer inspection and dismantling it, they have almost no lube on them at all. So yeah, not great. So I could sit here and complain about the stabilizers all day. I really could. But instead, I'm going to try and modify my Gateron yellow build to see how good the stabilizers can sound after some lubing and clipping. So disassembling it is pretty easy. It's similar to any other keyboard. Just one important thing to note is that it's not your typical plus or minus screw drive. You need a hexagonal shaped bit to actually unscrew the keyboard. Usually won't come with standard screwdriver kits, but you can buy some on Amazon. I'll link some down in the description below that I've heard are pretty good. So after unscrewing everything, you'll get to the PCB where you can then desolder however many switches you want. Again, I only decided to desolder the spacebar and other switches with a stabilizer. So after that, I took out the stabilizers, dismantled them, clipped them, and then lubed them with Krytox 205G0 and dielectric grease for the wires. And I put them back together, resoldered the switches into the PCB. After that, I added some thin foam to just reduce the overall reverb and hollowness of the case. I think it'll definitely help to make the keyboard sound a lot more full and rich. And after that, of course, I screwed everything back together. So overall, it wasn't too hard to dismantle and put back together. It just takes a little bit of experience and you'll pick it up really fast. If you guys are going to try this yourself, keep in mind that it is a little bit of a time investment. It took me around 20 to 30 minutes. That's mainly because I've done this many times before. It all just depends on how efficient you are, but you know, take your time, it's fine. But okay, with all of that, let's hear the difference. So yeah, the stabilizers, huge difference. There's not a lot of rattle. It sounds a lot more rich and crisp and just way smoother overall. It feels a lot nicer as well. And the foam also helped to reduce that overall hollowness and reverb of the case. It makes it sound a lot more dense, and that is a sound that I really like. So the overall typing experience of the keyboard is honestly pretty decent. The elevation provides for a really nice typing angle, which I personally really like. The elevation from the front is also very nice. I'm never a huge fan of a keyboard where the keys at the front are a little too high and it just makes it difficult to use without a wrist rest, but the drop enter definitely gets this one right. So yeah, in terms of overall feel, again, a lot of room for improvement for the Gateron Yellows, but for the Halo Trues, I think that it's all right stock. And if you're gonna get this keyboard, I recommend you lean more towards the Halo Trues because they just sound better stock. So the drop enter has a lot of mounting plates spread out throughout the keyboard, and so that provides a very stiff typing experience. There's not a lot of flex at all. And to some people who really like the flexibility of like a polycarbonate plate or a carbon fiber plate, then they may miss that because, you know, having some flexibility in the typing is also really nice. But I also know a lot of people who like a very rigid typing experience. So if you're a fan of a keyboard that doesn't go down with your fingers and provides very firm resistance, then this is definitely the typing experience that you want, and I can recommend it because it's pretty nice. Okay, so with all of that said, would I recommend that you guys get the drop enter mechanical keyboard? It really depends. It really depends. If you're a casual user and you're just looking for a keyboard to use in your office, in your workplace, or at home, then yeah, go for it. It has this really nice, minimal, sleek design without being super gamery, and at this price point, again, super nice keyboard. Honestly, if you don't mind the Radley stabilizers or the, you know, acoustics of the board without being modified, then yeah, this is something I can totally get behind and can totally recommend for you. If you guys are leaning more towards making a custom keyboard or, you know, modifying something yourself, then I don't think I can really recommend the drop enter. It's just, there's a lot of limitations, especially with the fact that it's not hot swappable and the stabilizers and everything. It's just not that great. It really is just a keyboard designed for people who just want to use a keyboard, and that's it. Drop also has some other keyboard kits like the Drop Alt. This is the high profile aluminum bare bones version, and it's completely hot swappable. It comes with RGB. I'm gonna build it soon, so expect a review in maybe a few weeks. So if you guys are still interested in getting the Drop Enter, the Drop Alt, or if you're looking for a drop keyboard in general, Drop is actually holding a promotion from November 1st to November 8th where everything keyboard related is 20% off if you use the code flagship20, link down in the description below. So yeah, if you guys are interested in getting one, I recommend you get it now because 20% off, it's pretty good. And yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do consider subscribing and pressing the like button. If you want to support the channel, follow me on Twitter, join me on my Discord server, or support me on Patreon. My Discord server is full of amazing people and I'd love for you guys to join. And Twitter is where I post a lot of, I mean, sometimes memes, but also like, you know, actual updates to what I'm doing. So, you know, it's pretty cool. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Woo! All right, video done.